Hello, welcome back to Story Molder. I'm Vern. Today's story is entitled David's Christmas. Long ago in a country with a name too hard to pronounce, far away from here, there lived a little boy named David. David lived in a small house with his aunt. His parents were nowhere to be found. His aunt was very, very mean. She made him earn his keep by chopping wood, sweeping the path, making fires, and running errands without a single thank you. His room was in the attic, where he slept on a straw pallet. His clothing was tattered. His socks had holes in the heels and toes because his aunt never had time to mend them. His shoes would have been worn out if it hadn't been made of wood. In many ways, things were different for David. His happiest days were at school. His classmates were friendly and he enjoyed playing with them. He wore the same clothes every day, while they wore much nicer outfits with good socks and warm coats. His coat was tattered. However, they never teased him about his clothes. One morning, David left for school, which was next to the big church. When he arrived, he saw that all the children were full of joy. They were dressed in their best clothes. Then he heard a boy say, "Won't it be fun tomorrow with the big tree full of oranges, popcorn, candy, and the candles burning?" Another boy added, "Won't it be fun to see what goodies are in our shoes in the morning?" A third boy said, "We have a big fat goose at home that's stuffed with dressing. Can't wait." David smacked his lips, thinking about it. He wondered about that beautiful tree and wished one would grow at his house. He thought about his wooden shoes and knew there would be no goodies in them in the morning. Then one boy asked him, "Don't you love Christmas, David?" David replied, "Christmas? What's Christmas?" Before the boy could respond, the teacher called out, "Boys, come inside the church now and hear the music." The boys lined up and entered the large church. Once inside, David immediately felt the warmth. He looked around at the soft lighting, beautiful flowers, and the marble altar and thought, "This is simply beautiful and breathtaking." As he sat on the high back bench, listening to the music, his heart warmed and his happiness grew. "Oh," he exclaimed, "what beautiful music." David had never heard such beautiful music before. When it was time to go home, the boys shouted, "Goodbye, David, and Merry Christmas." Although David didn't understand what Merry Christmas meant, he replied, "Goodbye, and Merry Christmas to you." As he headed home, the words of the song, "Peace on Earth, Goodwill to Men," softly played in his mind and heart, again and again like a broken record. He thought about how others would have a tree and felt happy for them. He thought about how others would have a goose to eat, and he felt joy for them. He thought about how others would have treats in their wooden shoes, and he was thrilled for them. Even though he would have none of those things, he felt happiness for others. As David walked home through the falling snow, large flakes landed on his cap, shoulders, and hands. But he didn't mind the cold or the snow because his heart was so warm. Soon he reached a tall house with steps leading up from the street to the front door. On the bottom steps, he saw a little boy with curly hair and a beautiful round face. The boy was lying there, leaning his head against the stone wall, fast asleep. David looked closer at the sleeping boy. He noticed his purple, cold, bare feet exposed to the weather. He lowered his head in despair, and his heart grew warmer. Feeling the coldness contrast with the warmth in his heart, he softly sang the song in his head, "Peace on earth, goodwill to men." He thought to himself, I have socks and shoes to keep me warm, but if I give away my socks and shoes, my aunt will be so mad. Finally, he decided to share his socks and shoes with the little boy. He thought, even a small act can bring warmth and comfort to someone in need. Carefully, so as not to wake the little boy, David lifted the boy's cold, bare foot to slip on the sock. Even after putting the shoe on the other foot, the little boy still did not wake. As David stood up and took one last look at the peaceful face, he felt proud of his kind act. Then he sang out loud, "The bells are ringing. In my heart I hear them. Peace on earth, goodwill to men." He hurried home through the snow, feeling happier than ever. Now I wish the story had ended differently, and that his aunt had said, "I'm so glad you did that, David." Instead, his aunt was furious and scolded him. "You had no right to give away that shoe and sock. They were paid for with my hard-earned money." She sent him to bed without any dinner. The good thing is that David didn't mind going to bed without dinner. In fact, he felt fulfilled and happy about the good deed he had done. That night, before going to bed, he knelt to pray to the Heavenly Father, thanking Him for sending His Son into the world to teach all of us to be loving and unselfish. Then he quietly curled up, and within a few minutes, he was sound asleep, dreaming a beautiful dream. In his dream, he continued singing, "Peace on earth, goodwill to men." He saw a vision of the sleeping little boy, who grew into a tall, gentle man with a shining face. They were walking back and forth singing, "Peace on earth, goodwill toward men." Very early the next morning, even before the sun rose, the sound of gentle bells ringing and the mild and sweet singing drifted from outside the window. Then a soft, tender voice called out, "David, David, wake up. Come downstairs and see what has happened." Strangely, it was his aunt calling him. He hurriedly got dressed and went downstairs. Once there, he was surprised to see a beautiful tree, just like the one the other boys talked about. A goose and his old wooden shoe, the one he had given to the sleeping boy, now filled with goodies. The choir kept singing as they walked up the street. They rang the bells more loudly and deeply, singing, "God is not dead, nor does He sleep. Peace on earth, goodwill to men. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men." He kept hearing the song from afar. The room became very quiet and peaceful. David's heart felt so calm. In the silence, a voice so tender, loving, and so gentle said, "David, what you did unto one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it unto me." His aunt's eyes were filled with tears. That Christmas, David's aunt hugged him and smiled. "Your heart is so full of love and compassion. You gave what you had to someone who was in need, to the least of these. Is there any time better than Christmas?" David responded, "No, Christmas is the best." Thank you for stopping by to listen to another one of my stories. Come back as often as you like. I'll be happy to have you. Goodbye for now.